All right, so second problem, y squared minus 4y minus 45. Okay, so according to our rules, we need to set up our table and think of the factors of negative 45 because it's a, which in this case is 1, times c, which is negative 45. And they have to sum to negative 4, or my b term. Okay, so if I'm going through and I'm doing factors of 45, well it has to be negative. Negative 1 and 45, negative 3 and 15, negative 5 and 9. Okay, now, but one of the things you need to realize is that when you start adding these together, this is going to give you a positive 44. This is going to give you a positive 12. This is going to give you a positive 4. Well, we want our answer to become a negative 4. So the placement of the negative does make a difference. So I could do negative 45 and 1, negative 15 and 3, and negative 9 and positive 5. Okay? Because now what's going to end up happening, as you can see, it's now taken and making my answers a completely different value. It's making it its opposite. But I want it to be the sum of negative 45, the factors of negative 45 that add up to negative 4. Well, that's right here. So when I go in and I start plugging this out, my binomials, I know I need a negative 5. So here, a negative 9. So here's my negative 9. I know I need a positive 5. There's my positive 5. Now all I have to do is just take that y square and break it out. Well, y times y is my y squared. So take the time to do your check and FOIL or box, whichever one you want. Box for me because of the space. And you've got y and negative 9, y and positive 5. So this becomes a y square. Here's the 5y. Here's the negative 9y and the negative 45. These two are like terms. Negative 9 and positive 5. Well, 5 minus 9 is negative 4. And I want it to be negative 4. So therefore, this is my answer. Okay. Another kind of problem you're going to see is going to look a little bit like this. Y squared plus 13y minus 48. Now, when you're creating your t-chart, sometimes what happens is that you get pretty lucky and you figure out your factors fairly early. Sometimes it takes a while, and that's perfectly okay. All right? Sometimes you're just going to have to keep going. So now what I'm looking for is the factors of negative 48, because 1 times negative 48 is negative 48. That sum to 13. All right? So negative 48, well, let's see, that's negative 12 and 4. Negative 4 and 12, because remember, of that placement, it's going to make a difference. Negative 6 and 8. Negative 8 and 6. Let's go easy. Negative 1 and 48. Negative 48 and 1. I'm going to go ahead and start adding together just to see if I've got anything. Excuse me. So this becomes a negative 8. That becomes the positive 8 because it's just the opposite. That's the positive 2 and the negative 2. That's a 47 and a negative 47. It's got to keep going because I need it to sum up to 13. So let's see. 24. So negative 24 and 2. Negative 2 and 24. Well, that gives me a negative 22, and that gives me a positive 22. So 48. So the only other factors I haven't tried yet are negative 6 and 8 and negative 8 and 6. So negative 6 and 8 is positive 2. And, oh wait, I've already tried those. Just kidding. So, let's see. What else haven't I tried? Oh, well, here's one. How about negative 16 and 3 and negative 3 and 16? So let's see, negative 16 and 3 is negative 13, and negative 3 and 16 is positive 13. Well, there it is. That's what I'm looking for right here. I'm looking for that negative 3 and positive 16. So I should have y minus 3 and y plus 16. Okay, do your real quick check just to make sure. So y and negative 3, y and positive 16, that's y squared, that's 16y, that's negative 3y, and let's see, that's 848 negative. So let's see, these two are the same. 16 minus 3 is 13, and the negative 48. So you got your answer right. Okay. Finally, the last kind of problem I could see. Okay, something like this: a squared minus a plus 6. A squared minus a plus 6. Okay, so I'm going to start my t-chart. I need to find the factors of 6 that sum to negative 1. So let's see, the factors of 6. So that's 6 and 1. They're both positive. So, but it's going to sum up to a negative. So those two are positive, but I also need to remember that two negatives can make a positive. Okay, even if I flip the order around and write negative 6 and negative 1, it's still the same thing, so I don't need to rewrite that again. 2 times 3, and negative 2 and negative 3. So let's see, that makes 7. That's negative 7. That's 5. And that's negative 5. So, whenever this situation comes up, it's not a does not exist. It's not an I don't know answer. You will not have an IDK on your SOL test. But whenever you have a problem that looks like this, the answer can be written out in a single word. Okay? The answer to this problem, because it cannot be factored, means that it is prime. Now, to be prime doesn't mean, what you're thinking. You're thinking that prime means 1 in itself, and it does. You're exactly right. However, in this case, the word prime is saying there are no two factors that when we multiply them together add up and make the two binomials that we need. So therefore, whenever you have a problem that cannot be factored, just like you see here, then the answer is prime.